Hey, hello everybody. It's good to have you guys here in the chat room. For you folks that are new and maybe over at Facebook or on YouTube, this is the live part of the show before we actually record the show. And if you'd like to be a part of the chat room you're seeing here on your screen, you can head over to live.2chairsnowaiting.com and you can join in the chat room and have some fun right there. All right. So, all right. So we are ready to go. I think we have, I've been talking to Ronnie Felker, and we're going to be hearing from him during the podcast, not directly, but he wrote a poem that I'm going to read to you. And we got some fun tonight. Hopefully you guys will enjoy this. Let's see who all is in our chat room. I see there's about 25 folks in there. I see Miss Mayberry, Sarah Blaine, Kentucky Mike, Carrie Brown, Lydia Crosswaith, the Milo boys. I see Dan, and I see Rand in here. I don't see him. Dan's in here. Susan, Goober Fife, Clanton, Chris Gome, he's in the room. Dr. U.T. Pendyke, DMV, is here. Nipper of the Bud. There's Rand. He's in here as well. Ernest T. Bass. Uh-oh. He's a pestilence, and he'll find you. I promise you that. Emmett Clark, JL327, Dennis Asa Blaine, Matt Copeland, and Dennis Asa Blaine is in here twice. He just wanted me to say his name twice. Donna Faye, Carp Gigger, and about 4 anonymous folks are in here. So it's good to have all you here with me on a Monday night. Somebody had said we need to have a Mayberry Monday night thing. And I was like, we already do. It's called the podcast. Come and join us. Anyway, so if you'd like to be a part of the chat room you're seeing right over here, you can head over to live.2chairsnowaiting.com and join in with all these great folks. They're having a good time in the chat room and visiting with one another. So let's see what's been going on from the last week. One of the things we're going to be talking about tonight is some of the Mayberry Man stuff, just a little bit. I want to talk about that because it's big stuff coming up in the next few weeks. So everybody's starting to get fired up for it. At least I am, and I think some other folks are. I'm seeing a lot of conversations going on the internet. And so the podcast tonight is actually called Not a Remake of the Andy Griffith Show. So we'll get into that in a little bit. There's several, for you guys that are in here, I'll say there are several groups on Facebook that are Andy Griffith Show related. And some of them are actually named The Andy Griffith Show or something. And I believe a lot of the people in those groups, I'm not quite sure whether they ever watched The Andy Griffith Show, or they may have seen it, but they didn't really watch it. So there's been a lot of conversations going on in some of those groups, just trying to help people understand what's happening and what's going on in the Mayberry world. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Not a remake of the Andy Griffith Show. That's what we're going to talk about. I've got a video I got to show you, and then of course Randy Turner, we got him as well. Yeah, Mike, there's several people that are you guys that are in some of these groups as well, but you see them and it's just like, oh my goodness, man, they all argue. I think it's kind of funny, and I have to admit this. I don't think I'm going to say it on the podcast, but I'll tell it to you guys because you're the faithful folks here. So there's a lot of people talk about trying to get more Mayberry in the world and having a little, just spreading the Mayberry feeling, the spirit. And then, we kind of went out and they made this movie, Mayberry Man. And then there's a lot of people that are supposedly Mayberry fans that are going, nope, not going to watch it. I'm not watching it. I don't want to see it, all this stuff. And I guess it kind of hurts the whole concept of trying to get more Mayberry stuff out to people, to try to get more of that kind of entertainment and that kind of fun to people. When you try to make something like that, and then the people you're trying to make it for are just, not happy. So it's kind of a weird situation we're in a little bit. So so I spent part of the weekend this weekend communicating, not arguing, but communicating with people, trying to explain to them what the Mayberry Man movie was about, and that I'm in it. One guy argued with me that it was a social justice, a woke movie, and I said no. No, it's not. I'm in the movie. I did and then he said, well, I hope not. I hope you're right. And I was like, yeah, dude, there is no hope. I'm telling you what the movie's about. So it was just kind of amazing to me. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about all that probably in the podcast, because I try to keep the podcast completely as positive as I can, but those things were just crazy, man. It was amazing. All these people that have actually watched or have act like they have watched the movie and therefore have judged it is just kind of been amazing to me, that they did that. So let me pull this up real quick. I forgot about this. There is the actual movie was reviewed. Now it's the Dove Foundation. Let me copy this. I may show this page. Copy the link. I got lots of links in here. Here we go. So the Dove Foundation actually reviewed the movie Mayberry Man, and it got approved for all ages. Dove approved, all ages. I'll talk a little bit about it as well, because it was. I'm glad we got that rating. If you guys don't know what the Dove the Dove Foundation of the Dove.org is, it is a very strong Christian organization with definitely focuses on trying to make sure people understand what's in movies and what might offend people. But I have to admit, this is just for you guys. I'm not going to talk about this during the regular part of the show, but during the review, what confused me is it's like they said there's mild language in this movie. And I was like, what are they talking about? There's mild language. Again, folks, this for you new guys, this is just me talking before the show starts. We hadn't even started the podcast. Anyway, they said there's mild language. I was going, there's no language in this movie. It's terrible. So I finally went down and read what the actual description is. Mild language from the Dove.org, which again, they're very strong Christians, organization. They're really focused on that. But the mild language was including shut up and dumb. Those were that was the mild language. I was like, oh my goodness, I don't remember anybody ever saying anything that would be mild language. So basically, as I went through and reviewed what they had reviewed, I discovered that the Andy Griffith Show would also have much of this problems. So like drugs is one of their categories, and it said main character drinks beer on several occasions. Alcoholism is discussed, though not pictured. I was like, what? I don't even remember. Maybe there's some scenes where Chris Stone is maybe, I don't remember that. That was probably not a scene I was in, but I just thought that was it. So Otis would have gotten this kind of rating too, right? On the Andy Griffith Show. So I feel pretty good. We got a good rating though, and it was all good. I mean, I'm not knocking what they do, and I understand why they do it. And, they were pretty complimentary as far as their overall rating. We got all ages. It's approved. Integrity was really high. I got a 4 out of 5, and faith was a 2 out of 5, and everything else was a 1. The ones that they even said, like mild language, was only a 1. So it wasn't, that's not bad. I guess I don't know how that works. I guess if you get a higher rating, that would be worse. But we only got a 1 for the language or violence or drugs. So I just was really, anyway, you guys may know a lot more about this than me, but I just thought it was kind of, I think it was kind of funny. So anyway, let's get this show going, and I'll talk to you after it's over if there's time. We're already 12 minutes into this. I hadn't even started. Again, so I want to invite everybody that is not over on live.2chairsnowaiting.com to come on and join us. There's 34 folks in the chat room now, so some of you have either made your way over or not. UT Pendyke, I think I saw him say that he thought I did pretty good defending the movie during the Let's see, I can't see it now, but I thought he said that a minute ago. So yeah, we need to fight fire with fire. I see that. Yeah. Gomer squeezed in the S word several times. Shazam. So, except when Chris Stone wouldn't let him. But all right, so let's get this thing going, and we'll talk to you guys after it's over. Let me cover up the chat room because you guys are very distracting to me because you talk about fun stuff. So again, whoops. Oh, I closed the chat room. Y'all can't see it. So you guys that would like to be a part of the chat room, head over to live.2chairsnowaiting and join in on the fun they're having as we talk. There's Vonnie48 is in here. I see she said hi, Alan. All right, so I'm going to cover you guys up and we'll get the show started. I keep closing you. Let's go. Let's go to here. Covering it up this way. There we are. Slide this out of my way where I won't look at it again until later. All right, if everybody's ready, I believe I am. Let me check my music. I think it's good. Let's see, making sure everything's the right sound. Probably hadn't forgot anything. And let's give it a try. We'll start it off, and then if I've messed up, we'll have to start again. Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 646, not a remake of the Andy Griffith Show. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the fine folks over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Drop by over at Weavers and check out some of the great stuff they got over there. They got Mayberry Man movie. That's right, it'll be coming out just in September. So it's getting close, so you can get your a cap or a t-shirt, or you can get a print. Head over to weaversdepartmentstore.com and check it out. While you're there, check out the Maggie Peterson collection. We're helping raise money to help out Maggie. And so head over there and check it out and see what it's all about at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners like you. And the executive producer of episode number 646 is Richard Mink. Thank you, Richard, and thank you for being here in Mayberry with me. We have a lot of fun tonight. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Mayberry Man movie because that was definitely a topic. It's getting close. It's about to get released, so I got a little bit of new news that you may not have heard that'll probably be coming out in the next day or so. And also, I just want to review a little bit of information about the fact that it is not a remake of the Andy Griffith Show. We also have some fun I need to mention. We got a poem that was submitted to me by Ronnie Felker. He's a Barney Fife tribute artist and lives over in South Carolina. He's got a book that's going to be coming out later this year. I'll tell you about it as we get to that. And we are going to hear from Randy Turner and play a little trivia if we have time. We're going to do all that stuff. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. So let's just get right into this here. Okay, Mayberry Man, the Mayberry Man movie is not a remake of the Andy Griffith Show. So just so everybody realizes that Mayberry Man is not a remake of the Andy Griffith Show. Now I have a video that I'm going to play for you, but for everybody listening to just the audio podcast, I think it'll be pretty clear. You're going to hear from people that are on the movie, including myself, that will be talking about, it's not a remake. This is real short. It's only about a minute long. But this is some behind the scenes shots that were done for the Mayberry Man movie. And I'm just trying to clarify because we had a big conversation on Facebook over the weekend with people in some of the Facebook groups over there that really are really negative about the Mayberry Man movie because they think it's a remake or Hollywood's making fun of them or, like, it's that kind of thing. Mr. Meldon's coming to town. They're going to make fun of our fat little mayor. None of that's going to happen. So, okay. So let's go and listen to this, and then I'll talk a little more about it after that.
Hey, have you ever been over to the courthouse?
No.
Oh, you want to see that? Oh, it's just like the real set. Oh, it's real. I'll go with you.
Mayberry Man is not a remake of the Andy Griffith Show. It's a tribute to the Andy Griffith Show and the fans that love the show. That wholesome values that the Andy Griffith Show had. You could never recreate the Andy Griffith Show, not with the Don Knotts and Andy. It could just never be done.
but it builds on the feelings that you have when you watch the Andy Griffith Show, of family, of friendship, of community.
Mayberry Man is kind of a way to keep the Mayberry legend going.
And it's just so much fun. The fans are so much a part of it. The extras, people donated props, everything they could to make it more authentic, including the towns that we shot in. So if you're a fan of the show, the Andy Griffith Show, you're going to find this to be super exciting, and it'll kind of bridge the gap between what happened back then and where we are today.
All right, so that's basically it. It's going to be in theaters not too long from now, guys. It's coming up, so I wanted to be able to announce that as well. So the Mayberry Man movie, again, is not a remake of the Andy Griffith Show. So you heard from, that was me as Floyd. I was talking in there. That was Rick Roberts as Barney, and Eric Lowry as Mayor Pike. He was in there as well talking about this. So it is not a remake. It is a modern day. It's current. It is like it's like somebody went to Mayberry Days or Mayberry in the Midwest and was engulfed in the Mayberry feeling that those kind of festivals have. That's what the movie is about. And in the movie, I play Floyd the Barber, but I don't really play Floyd. I play Alan, a character named Alan, believe it or not, who is a Floyd the Barber tribute artist. Yeah, very typecast in that situation. Yeah, so his name's Alan, and he's a Floyd the Barber tribute artist. It could be that he had me in mind when he wrote this script. I'm not sure. So anyway, the movie is not a remake. I don't know how many times I got to say that, but I think fans are going to really enjoy it. And I believe people who are just casual fans of the Andy Griffith Show will enjoy it as well if they'll give it a chance. It's going to be fun, I hope. Now, for you guys that listen to the podcast, you know me. So therefore, when you get to watch the movie, you got two bonuses there, right? So you know somebody that's in the movie from listening to me. And here's the way I look at it. Even if I'm terrible in the movie somehow, you guys will be able to sit there and make fun of how terrible I am as I stare at the camera instead of at the actors I'm supposed to, or whatever I do wrong. I've not seen the movie either at this point. So I hope I didn't do stuff like that, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what it turned out like. And you guys, since you know me, at least know me from the podcast at a minimum, I think you'll enjoy it just from that regard. But I really believe, even if you didn't know me, and even if I wasn't in it, I would be excited about this movie because this is a chance for us as the Mayberry community who's always talking about spreading the Mayberry spirit. That's what I always talk about. How do we do that? How do we spread it? How do we get it out there? How do we get people to know about the Andy Griffith Show and the podcast and all the events that go on around it? Well, this is an amazing opportunity with a movie that people are going to be able to go to the theaters and watch and see these characters on the screen. All right. So speaking of being able to go to the theaters to see the movie. All right. So the movie was supposed to be coming out in October. Well, I got news for you. People, even if you didn't support the movie, starting in September 23rd through the 26th, it's going to be at the Creekside Cinema in Mount Airy. Okay, so you'll be able to go see it then. But that's not the first date. Okay, so let me, I'm pulling up the information. I got it right here. So the online screening for backers, that's going to move up till, it's going to be Tuesday, September the 7th. So they moved it forward. And the reason they did that is because the first theater that's going to start showing the movie is actually going to be on Friday, September the 10th in Smithfield, North Carolina. It's at the Howell Theater. And it's no relation to Stark and Court Howell, who made the movie, but it is very ironic that that is the name of the theater that they're going to be premiering the movie, or it's going to be available to anybody to go to. And it's going to be in South Carolina, the Howell Theater in Smithfield, North Carolina on the 10th of September. That's when it's going to start. So definitely want to get you as the backers. There's going to be that screening for you, because you back the movie. It's a one day only. It's going to be Tuesday, the 7th of September. You'll be able to you'll get an email that you'll be able to log in and watch that. So, and then during Mayberry Days, guys, you're going to be able to go to the Creekside Cinema if you want to, and you'll be able to watch Mayberry Man. That's right. It's coming on the 23rd of September. So you'll be able to go and see it there at the Creekside Cinema in Mount Airy. That's right. So during Mayberry Days, if you're at Mayberry Days, you'll be able to go there and check it out. Okay. So it's going to be the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of Mayberry Days. They're going to be showing it from 12:30. They're going to be a 12:30, a 3 o'clock, a 5:30, and an 8 p.m. showing every day during that time frame. So you can go and check it out. So there's going to be a lot of fun with Mayberry Man. And keep watching too, because I believe there's going to also be opportunities to see the movie, The Mayberry Effect. So those two movies, one's a documentary, The Mayberry Effect, and the Mayberry Man movie, very closely hand in hand, because Chris Hudson, I guess the filmmaker who made the Mayberry Effect documentary, is in Mayberry Man, showing that he had made that movie. It's actually in there. So this is just so much fun, guys. There's so much Mayberry stuff coming on for all of us. So this stuff will be streaming too at some point in the fall, probably. Weaver's Department Store will have DVDs of both of these movies, the movie and the documentary. You'll be able to get them both from Weaver's and be able to see the DVDs. You can go to the theaters to see them. It's getting in a lot of theaters. Folks have been sending me pictures that has coming soon, and has the poster, the Mayberry Man poster. They've been sending me pictures of it on the wall, and it's funny because I'm on the Mayberry Man poster, and there's like on one side of the Mayberry Man poster is Ryan Reynolds in Free Guy, that movie, and on the other side is like the Jungle Cruise movie with The Rock. So here I am hanging on a wall. Here's Mayberry hanging on the wall between these big stars. So I'm excited about it. I hope you are. It's not a remake. Go and check it out. It's an arrogant movie star that's busted for speeding, going through a small southern town, and sentenced by the judge to go to Mayberry Fest. So it's celebrating Mayberry, and basically he's immersed in that entire Mayberry spirit. And he discovers the true meaning of friendship and family. That's what the movie's about. And it is very Mayberry. So hope you'll enjoy it. All right. So I blathered about that for 10 minutes. If y'all are still here, I got a story from you for you. If I didn't forget anything, I don't think I did. Oh, while I'm talking about it, it was rated by Mayberry Man was rated by Dove.org as what's it called? It's Dove approved for all ages. So if you are concerned about language or anything like that, you can definitely check out the Dove.org. I was a little confused because it does get a language rating that says it's mild language. And I was like, oh my goodness, what was said? I don't remember that. Well, it's for somebody in the movie said, shut up. And somebody said dumb. So, if that's the worst we did, hopefully that doesn't offend anybody and you guys will enjoy the movie. So anyway, we were rated and did well in that. So that's great. So thank you to Dove. That's awesome. So it's all ages. So anybody can go see this movie. All right. So let's go on now and talk about the other thing I told you that we're going to talk about from Ronnie Felker. So, Ronnie Felker sent me a poem that he had done that is called Floyd's Barbershop. And so I wanted to share this with you, okay? Let's see, I should get a little background music for that, shouldn't I? Let's see, something kind of mellow. Need something like that. So let's try this. There we go. Little mellow music. So this is called Floyd's Barbershop. Now, Ronnie, just so you know, I'll go ahead and tell you before I forget, he's got a book that's going to be coming out later this year. And the title is Make Mayberry Real Again is the name of the book. So it'll be coming out later this year. It's not out yet, but it's going to have poems like this one in there. So I hope you'll like it, enjoy it. So it says, when you're in Mayberry and need the latest news, stop by Floyd's Barbershop and you'll be well amused. Might even hear some gossip that Fred Henry told Floyd. See, Barney read the National Geographic because gossip he avoids. While you're waiting on Floyd to finish your hair, don't get too relaxed in the barber chair. Play checkers with Barney, Goober, Judd. Beat Barney at checkers, and he'll say, nip it in the bud. Listen to Andy tell how he killed that carp. Says, Mr. Carp, you've missed your match. Now he's playing a harp. Then Floyd will give you a trim and some advice about falling in love and how to get a wife. Foley comes to town with his wife, Rose. He gets a haircut and a shave, then punches Floyd in the nose. Said Floyd charged him for a shave that he didn't ask, which turned into a 19-year unsolved task. Floyd deceived by a bookie barber with an extra barber chair, but all he does is gamble and doesn't cut any hair. Before you leave, sit out front and talk about the weather, or listen to Floyd tell how he hates cold lather. So come by Floyd's and sit for a while. You'll learn to live Mayberry style. So thank you, Ronnie. So that was by Ronnie Felker, and he's going to have a whole book full of stories like this coming out sometimes, hopefully before Christmas time. So kind of be watching for that, and we'll let you know as soon as it's out and available. We'll get that for you. Okay. All right. So let's go now and play a little bit of trivia before we get going here. So we got to have a little more high energy music for that. Let's see here. What about this one? Yeah, here we go. Ready for the trivia? So get your pencils and paper out. Here we go. Question number 1. True or false? Andy was the choir director. True or false? Andy was the choir director. Okay, how you guys doing? Let's see how the chat room here. I can see what they're doing. All right, last chance. Andy was the choir director. True or false? The answer is false. He was not the choir director. Good job. So, since he wasn't, the next question is, who is the town choir director? Who is the town choir director? All right. Last chance on this one. Who is the town's choir director? It's not Edgar Coleman. All right. The answer is the choir director for the town of Mayberry, John Masters. John Masters is the answer. All right. So that was number 2. Number 3. Speaking of John Masters, what happens when John Masters gets upset? What happens to John Masters when he gets upset? Okay. What happens to him? When he gets upset, what happens to John Masters? This is a little harder. All right. What happened to John Masters when he got upset? This is a little harder. Oh, folks in the chat room have gotten it. The answer is when John Masters gets upset, he broke out into the hives. He got hives. Ooh, good. Good job. All right. Next question, number 4. It's not John Masters this time, but who sold the gas station to Ed Sawyer, that stranger in town? Who sold the gas station to Ed Sawyer? Okay, this is a multiple choice, so I'll give you some chances here, but if you already know, you just got it, right? Who sold the gas station to Ed Sawyer? All right. Is it Wally, Goober, Skip Martin, or George Sapperly? So it's A, B, C, or D. Who sold his gas station to Ed Sawyer? Wally, Goober, Skip Martin, or George Sapperly? The answer is D, George Sapperly. George Sapperly. How'd you do on that one? All right, let's see. We got some time. Let's do some more. This is number 5. True or false? True or false? Helen cooks a terrific leg of lamb. True or false? Helen cooks a terrific leg of lamb. True or false? All right. This is easy. You can guess true or false, whichever it is. The answer is Helen does not cook a terrific leg of lamb. It's false. You're kidding. You're kidding. All right, so that was false. Hey, Otis, I just saw your mother-in-law coming out of the dentist office. So if you guys don't remember that, you got to watch that episode. Otis, that's what got you in the jail. You swung a leg of lamb at your mother-in-law. But I missed her. Did you hit her mother? Yeah, right in the mouth. All right. Next up, number, what is this? 6. Who was an experienced falcon keeper? Number 6. Who was an experienced falcon keeper? Last chance on this one. You got to guess if you don't know it. Who was an experienced falcon keeper? Falcon keeper. Falcon keeper. Falcon keeper. Yeah. No falcon keeper. If that helped you at all. It was Malcolm. Malcolm Merriweather. Malcolm Merriweather. Remember Floyd was trying to see him. He was trying to look. He was looking on his board. Yeah, falcon keeper. Oh, a falcon keeper. Yeah, falcon keeper. Falcon keeper. Yeah, no falcon keeper. No. All right. Number 7. What's the rule? Come on, this is fun. What is the rule for remembering how to spell chicken? What's the rule for remembering how to spell chicken? What's the rule for remembering how to spell chicken? I always forget this rule. All right, so the rule is I before E except after C and E before N in chicken. I always forget that rule. Didn't he spell that wrong? No. I before E except after C and E before N in chicken. All right, let's do this. This will be our last one. It's multiple choice. Are you ready? Number 8. How much did Aunt Bee win in Wally's grab bag for cash contest? This is Aunt Bee. How much did Aunt Bee win in Wally's grab bag for cash in the contest? Now this is How much did Aunt Bee win in Wally's grab bag for cash contests? Was it Wally's contest? Yeah, I guess it was. All right, so folks in the chat room are getting it. Was it $1, $3, $5, or $10? So A, B, C, or D, 1, 3, 5, or $10. The answer is, how much money did Aunt Bee win in Wally's grab bag for cash? Was this not Goober's grab bag for cash? It was $5. $5 is the correct answer. Ding, 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 ding. Folks in the chat room are getting it. All right, guys. So how did you do? How did you do with your trivia? Did you do a good job? Did you have fun? That's the main thing, right? That is the main thing. I hope you guys had a good time during it. All right. So now you get to have even more fun. Did you even understand? You get to have even more fun. You're going to get to hear from This Week in Mayberry History with Randy Turner.
Welcome to This Week in Mayberry History, a report by special correspondent Randy Turner of the Gomer and Cooper Pyle Comic Book Literary Guild of the Mayberry Historical Society.
Jonathan Hole played one of the earliest recurring characters in the Andy Griffith Show. His appearances as Undertaker Orville Monroe during the first season were only a small part of a career that spanned 7 decades. Jonathan was born on August 13th, 1904, in the small town of Eldora, Iowa, which even now has a population of 2,600, which is only about 300 more than the town's population the year Jonathan was born. After his family moved to Des Moines, about an hour and a half south of his birthplace, Jonathan caught the acting bug when he appeared in a high school production, A short biography of Jonathan in a Broadway playbill later read, "He won his spurs in a high school production of Penrod, then wanted to come to New York the next day and play leads on Broadway. But his family dissuaded him, and in revenge, he became a clerk for the Standard Oil Company of Indiana." Actually, before he took that clerk's position, he attended Drake University in Des Moines. He was already performing in vaudeville while still a teen, but took the clerk position with Standard Oil shortly thereafter, likely to satisfy his family. Even though he was making a comfortable wage, he soon decided to go to New York, where he met with quick success when he was cast in his first Broadway show, the comedy Dr. David's Dad. The show opened on August the 13th, 1924, on Jonathan's 20th birthday. Unfortunately, the show closed after only 5 performances. Billing himself as John Hole at the time, Jonathan never appeared in a long-running Broadway show, but was an incredibly busy stage actor nonetheless. For the next few years, he honed his acting chops, performing in stock theater productions in Des Moines and Manchester, New Hampshire. He also did another season of vaudeville, and in 1926 became the stage manager for the Morgan Wallace Players, a stock company in Des Moines. In January 1928, Jonathan returned to Broadway in another comedy, 57 Bowery. The comedy closed after just 28 performances. Of his Broadway shows that can be verified with certainty, this was his longest-running show. But as I said, Broadway shows often do not have long lives, but Jonathan was never at a loss for work. After 57 Bowery closed, Jonathan did 2 more seasons of stock theater before returning to Broadway once again in September 1930 to appear in another comedy, The Cinder Relative. The comedy was co-written by Dorothy Hayward, who 3 years earlier had co-written the play Porgy with her husband, a play that was later adapted into the renowned musical Porgy and Bess. The Cinder Relative, however, lasted only 4 performances. Jonathan returned to stage work, adding Portland, Maine, Denver, Colorado, and Dayton, Ohio to his theater resume. I can't resist adding that in Dayton, Jonathan performed at the Victoria Theater that when it was first built was called the Turner Opera House. More importantly, Jonathan acted in Dayton alongside an actress named Betty Hanna. They eventually married and remained so until her death in 1976. After appearing in several road shows of plays, Jonathan returned once again to Broadway in November 1931 to appear in Peter Flies High as the lead character, Peter Turner. But you guessed it, the show closed after only 8 performances. Less than a year later, he was back on Broadway in a revue made up of 21 vaudeville acts called Chamberlain Brown's Scrapbook, which had only 10 performances. Jonathan toured with a popular production of Uncle Tom's Cabin, and according to a secondary unverified source, appeared in another short-run Broadway show in January 1933. In January 1934, he appeared in the last Broadway show that can be verified with certainty, The Locked Room. The show opened on Christmas Day in 1933, but didn't make it to New Year's Eve, closing December 30th. And possibly a final Broadway show, an unverified source says he also appeared in Lost Horizons, beginning December the 1st, 1934. If so, it was his longest-running Broadway play, though it only ran 56 performances. But it was in Jonathan's entry into what we now call old-time radio that we began to first see him crossing paths with others who will form connections to Mayberry. While continuing to do stage work, Jonathan worked in radio in various cities, including New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago. He also worked as an announcer for a time in Chicago in the early 1940s on the popular radio station. One of his better-known roles during this time period was appearing regularly alongside Olin Soule, Mayberry's own John Masters, in the long-running soap opera Bachelor's Children. It was not the last time he would act with people later involved with the Andy Griffith Show, including just a couple of years later alongside an actor that created confusion for Mayberry fans for many years, which we will discuss in detail next week. That's it for this week. As always, thanks for listening, and remember to take care of yourself, take care of one another, and take Andy's advice and go out there and act like somebody.
Wow, thank you, Randy. Always gives us some amazing things to think and talk about. If you want to make sure you don't miss out on all the things that Randy is doing on around the Andy Griffith Show, send him an email at turnersgrade@gmail.com. turnersgrade@gmail.com, and he'll make sure you don't miss out on anything. So thank you again, Randy, for that great report. And thank you for being here with me in Mayberry. I would love to hear your thoughts about the podcast tonight and what you may have thought. If you've if you get to see Mayberry Man later, send me some feedback. I'd love to hear from it, even if it's not good. I'd like to hear it. So, folks, hey, thanks for being here. Give me a call at 888-684-8415. And also, you can email me at floyd@imayberry.com. I would love to hear from you. And until next week, y'all have a great Mayberry week, and we'll see you right here on Two Chairs. Good night, everybody. All right. All right, we're done there. All right, guys in the chat room, hope you guys enjoyed that. Well, there I come back. There we go. So I was told that I had some new viewers tonight. Let's see if I can pull this up. Had a new viewer. I don't know what. I didn't get to see the name. Here we go. Let's see. Let me see if I can pull this up. Here we go. There you go. So I had my earpiece comes out. So there's a new viewer of the podcast was being entertained tonight. I think it's a Vincent. It's a Randy or Danny Vincent friend there. I'm not sure. Jan said it was in the chat. I didn't even see who it was, but she sent it to me. It was sent to them. So one of you guys in the chat room can tell me who that is. But there's a new viewer. So I'll count them. I'll take any viewer or listener that I can get. The poor thing looks confused on it. It's like, what is wrong with this guy's voice? So there we go. That's great. Let's see if I can tell. It may tell in this. I just pulled it up. A new listener is all it says. Yeah. New listener for Two Chairs. Isn't that cool? So that's Danny. What? Sharon. Oh, Danny and Sharon sent that. So that's Danny and Sharon's. Did you know its name? Or Danny, you're in here. What's the animal's name there? You puppy. That's pretty cool. So there it is. There you go. That's a new Judd. Judd would enjoy them. Yeah, friend for Judd. That's Rocky. That's Rocky Vincent. There we go. That's cute. So, yeah, he looks kind of confused. There's no telling what I just said. It was probably when I was talking about him saying that the language was mild and it was dumb or shut up. And it was probably when I said shut up. It probably offended Rocky. I'm sorry. Rocky. So, anyway, that's cute. All right, so let's see here. Anything else going on? I don't think there's anything else heading on here. So we're going to be traveling. Jan and I will to go out to California on the 11th of September. We didn't think this through completely. So we're flying from, I think, Nashville to California on September 11th. It's great planning, Alan. The 20th anniversary, I believe, of September 11th. So anyway, we're going to be heading out there and going to the Mayberry Man movie. And then we'll be heading up and we're going to go try and see the sequoia trees the big trees. It's only a couple of hours, we think, north of the LA area where we'll be. So it's about 130, 120 miles, something like that. So we're going to head up and see those sequoia trees, at least for part of that. We'll be back, and then we'll be heading to Mayberry Days after that. Yeah, we're going to be in Danville. We're heading up to Danville for the September 4th. Hey, I wanted to make sure anybody that's going to be in Danville, if you're going to be there for the thing on Friday night, Rick Roberts is going to be performing there in Danville. Do I have that? Let me see if I can pull that up. He's going to be performing on that Friday night. Let me see if I may not have a picture of that. There at the theater. Dadgummit, I thought I had that I shared it. Yeah, I shared it. Let me see if I can find that. But he's going to be there. So if you're going to be in the area and you got something, if you want to do something on that Friday night, head over to the theater. And I think, I'm trying to remember, I'm heading there now to find, I can't use Facebook very well, evidently. What am I doing? I know what it is. I've got it shrunk down. Here we go. Now I can go see. But he's going to be performing there. Here it is. Got it. He's going to be performing on September the 3rd at the Danville Theater. So definitely, if you can make it there, you'll want to. So there, let's see if I can, let me shrink this back down. I had to spread it wider so I could read it. So there it is at the top. So he's going to be at the Royal Theater. I believe it's going to be doors open at 8 p.m. and his show starts at 8:30. And he's going to be raising money for the local fire department there in Danville. So definitely, if you're going to be in the area, show Rick some love and come and enjoy yourself. I definitely am going to be doing that. So head over to that. I should have mentioned that. I'll try to remember it next week. Yeah, I got next week still to talk about that. So definitely make sure you do that. That'll be a lot of fun. Facebook. Yeah. I couldn't find, I can't get it to work when I'm under pressure. That's the thing. But that's definitely something to do on Friday night. If you're coming in, if you're driving in to Danville, to go to the movie that next night, if you're spending the night on Friday night, and you're going to be in the area, head over there and check out Rick. This is going to be awesome. You're going to have a great time, and visiting and seeing Rick perform in person. That'll be a lot of fun. So all the money is going to be raised will be donated to they're purchasing a life pack defibrillator for the Danville Fire Department. That's what the money's going toward. So definitely something you will want to do if you have an opportunity. Okay, so that's a good thing. Let's see, anything else going on? I should have mentioned that in the podcast. I'll try to remember that next week. Y'all help me remember if I don't. I need to grab that image. Let me grab that right now. Put it on my desktop. There we go. All right. So we got it on there. I think we got it. And maybe Rick can remind me. All right, guys, that is all I got for you. It's 10 till 8. I really got nothing else to tell you about, I don't think. Y'all have heard all about the Mayberry Man stuff that I can think of. I will tell you this. There is, for you guys that are here, for the podcast listeners, there is Randy Turner is on a episode of a podcast called The Loaded Goat. Okay, so he's going to be on that this week. You can go to loadedgoat.net. That's the actual website for the podcast. And Randy Turner is the guest this week, and I think next week as well. I'd never heard of this podcast. Just be a little careful and realize that the folks that are listening to it, they're not there. I haven't listened to but the first episode and it was fine, but Randy, I'm afraid that there's a few things in there that might, big fans would maybe get upset about because there's some speculation. They try to come up with some controversy or something to kind of keep everything going. Like their submit a question or opinion page actually says, submit a hot take or throw out a new Taylor family conspiracy that they can discuss on the podcast. So I'm not saying I haven't listened to the episodes. There's 44 episodes. So I listened to the first one. I went back and listened to it. I hadn't listened to Randy's yet. I listened to the first one to see what it was like. And it might be something you want to check out. You can go to loadedgoat.net. There's 44 episodes of Mayberry stuff. And basically you've got two guys on there. There's a guy named Aaron. He was a Mayberry, Andy Griffith fan. He enjoys it. And then there's Chris, and he's just watching the show the first time, kind of. He wasn't raised with it. So he's kind of watching it the first time, and they give some information and stuff. And the first episode was good. I enjoyed it. I've never heard of it, but it's been going since January. Like I said, there are 44 episodes, I believe, currently. So you guys can go and check it out if you want to. That's something you might enjoy, and see how they're doing. Okay, so it's called The Loaded Goat. I thought it's a cool name. It's a good name for it. But I believe there's like 40 some odd episodes of that podcast. All right, guys, just more Mayberry out there. I try to support it all. So I hope you guys will go over there and check it out and see if you like it or not. It seemed like it was okay, but just a disclaimer, realize that they're a little more critical than, of course, I am. But, I'm not critical at all, so that makes it real easy. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. I don't have anything else that I can tell you about it that I know of. So I hope you guys will have a great Mayberry week. I hope everybody gets to see the movie as it comes out. The streaming, I don't think I even said that in the podcast, did I? They're going to do the streaming early. Yeah, I did tell that, didn't I? The online backing, the streamers are going to be on September the 7th. They had moved that forward so that it can be released at the movie theaters on September 10th. Okay, so the online screening, I did talk about that. So make sure you're ready for that. If you supported the movie at the level where you'll be able to get that, definitely do it. And here's a link in the chat room for that podcast I was telling you about, The Loaded Goat. Loaded Goat, it's loadedgoat.net is what it is. And I think that's all I got. So, all right. So I'm glad you got your order, Dr. Pendyke. Did you perhaps order Miracle Salve? I mean, come on, you had to have ordered Miracle Salve, right? I mean, you had to have. He said he ordered, you had to have ordered some Miracle Salve. If you have not, your name is Dr. U.T. Pendyke. You have got to order some Miracle Salve. So, all right, guys, we are going to get out of here. You guys have a great week. Thanks for being here. It always helps me just keep things going. Knowing you guys are here, I want to thank you. I really do. Thanks a lot for being here. For those who donate to the podcast, thank you. And those who are unable to do so, thank you as well for just supporting the podcast and getting out and telling people about it. And I guess that's it. So you guys have a great Mayberry week. I'd love to hear from you. Give me a call at 888-684-8415, or you can email me at floyd@imayberry.com. And until next week, everybody, have a great week, and we'll see you then. Good night, everybody.